This is Ulrich Blatter, and I'll be playing through my favorite game of all time, Myth the Fallen Lords. I've installed some patches, some graphical tweaks. I hope you like them. Sit back, watch the opening. After that, I'll continue talking, so either sit through and suffer, or skip through the gameplay and we'll continue from there.
In a time long past, the armies of the dark came again into the lands of men. Their leaders became known as the Fallen Lords, and their terrible sorcery was without equal in the West. In 30 years they reduced the civilized nations to carrion and ash, until the free city of Madrigal alone defied them. An army gathered there, and a desperate battle was joined against the Fallen. Heroes were born in the fire and bloodshed of the wars which followed, and their names and deeds will never be forgotten.
It can't be hopeless. 2 nights ago, half a dozen men and I crouched around a campfire trying to stay warm, and one of them said those words. He joined the Legion only 3 weeks earlier and started talking to himself after a ghoul's cleaver removed 3 fingers from his left hand. He squatted there in the dirt, repeating that sentence. If he was looking for reassurance or sympathy, he came up empty-handed, for no one else said a word. Tonight I sit by a campfire 50 miles northwest, remembering the way he screamed this morning when 4 thralls surrounded him, knocked the sword from his good hand, and hacked him to pieces. I never got his name. The war in the north is in its 7th year, and I grow tired of writing this record. Force of habit counts for something, but I've written of so many half-hearted assaults, so many retreats. Why do I go on? Writing down every detail I could remember, the names of dead men and burning cities, and the feeling of heat at our backs as we ran away again, used to help me sleep at night. Now it's just something to do between fighting and sleeping. Sometimes the sense of futility is overwhelming. Now that most of this blackened continent belongs to the Fallen Lords and their servants, it's easy to become discouraged. Sometimes I feel that holding on for 7 years means nothing, that chronicling this slow death of a world and its people means even less. Our efforts seem to make no difference, and I wonder why I ever thought of joining up with the Legion was a good idea. My grandfather always told me I had a bad head. Sometimes he would strike it for emphasis. In the last month I have dreamt of my grandfather repeatedly, for reasons I do not understand. I loathed him as a child. When I was younger, my sisters and I spent summers on his farm, performing the menial labor that any sane adult phobes off on his children. I remember dreading the summer and the bitter old man it brought, lugging his pumpkins a full mile from the field to his slapdash barn, running in terror from his malnourished animals. I hated it then, though it seems almost idyllic when compared with this summer. Perhaps that's why I dream of it. The only relief we had during those summers were the nights when the old man got drunk. He was a sorry drunk. A single bottle rendered him immobile for the evening, and his words ran together like rainwater dripping from a rope that holds a hanged man aloft. Sometimes the liquor ate a hole in the living parts of his mind, and he would forgo his usual giggling stupor and tell us stories that had been told to him while he was young, about one named Connacht who delivered the world from darkness. The way the stories had it, Connacht came out of the east right around the same time that a comet took up residence in the western skies. At the time, the world lived in the long shadow of the Macridia, a race of flesh-eaters too horrible to describe to children, or so my grandfather said. I have heard other stories of them since, and it seems that no two people can paint the same picture of what the Macridia were, or how they were able to keep the land stricken with fear for hundreds of years. I dismissed them as a complete fantasy were it not for the conviction and the fear in my grandfather's bleary eyes when he spoke of them. Connacht was the first human in 1,000 years to survive a battle with the Macridia, and he didn't just survive, he prevailed. He hunted them down and imprisoned them in an artifact called the Tane, a prison with walls which the smiths of Myrthymne had forged for him. When the Macridia disappeared, Connacht ascended to the Emperor's throne and presided over what is now known as the Age of Light. His story fades away at this point. Some say he died or was assassinated or kidnapped. Others say he left Myrthymne in search of some powerful artifact. Supposedly the immense power of items like the Tane both fascinated and terrified him, and he is known to have sought out objects of similar power. The 5 Eblis stones, Tramist Mirror, the Total Codex. He destroyed the ones he could and secreted the rest. In any case, none of them have been seen in centuries. In fact, all of this is ancient history, but Balor and the rest of the Fallen torched Myrthymne just a few years ago, and I'm reminded with a quick look over our ranks that we are not the brave Connacht's army, but a scruffy rabble in the service of the Nine. I doubt Connacht will swoop in to save us. Back when I joined up with the Legion, there was a mad journeyman who regaled anyone too tired to move away from his theory about the edge of all, the line between the land and nothingness, out beyond the kingdom of Gower, where Connacht arose. He claimed the world is double-sided and constantly spinning, like a coin tossed in the air, and the living and the dead are held to its surface by sorceries too powerful for humans to master. And so the light and the dark hold dominion successfully, and the land belongs in turn to men or to the undead. I grew as tired of his effective vocabulary as I did of his idiotic ideas, but I confess I felt a small twinge of sadness when he died. I never got his name either. For the last week, the camp's been abuzz with the rumor that the Nine have got their hands on something which can change the course of the war. Most of us are inclined to dismiss this as nonsense, but 7 years of bloody battles with the tireless and seemingly infinite armies of the undead will do that. I admit it seems ridiculous, a talisman that will keep us alive, that will somehow give us the strength to outwit and outlast Balor. You'd think the Nine would have used it earlier. It's just a rumor anyway, and I have learned not to put much faith in rumors. The men of the Legion have heard too many promises that everything will get better any day now. No one wants to hear the words spoken out loud, so I keep mine to myself, and I suspect others nurture hope as well, though they may not speak of it openly. Would we carry on fantasizing of a future beyond war if we hadn't a chance? If this were so, we wouldn't be able to carry on, yet here we are. It can't be hopeless. So now you either have nerves of steel or you've killed yourself. Onto the tutorial.
This is a brief tutorial on playing Myth, the Fallen Lords. Follow the instructions or die horribly. The camera is your point of view. Moving the camera well is the first step toward playing well. Use the Q and E keys to orbit or rotate the camera.
I promise you I will not be playing well for a while. I have not played this game in a
Use the
years,
W
probably.
and S keys to move forward and backward. Use the A and D keys to move left and right. Use the Z and X keys to track left and right. Use the C and V keys to zoom in and out.
I don't know why I put the tutorial in here. I just figured I might as
Hit
well have
Tab
everything.
to bring up the overhead map. See the green dot on the overhead map? That's your warrior. The yellow trapezoid represents your field of view. Select the marching warrior with the mouse and hit the spacebar to stop him. Now move him towards the flag by clicking near it.
Oh, I'm so good.
You may quickly select groups of units by band selecting or double-clicking on a unit. Select your archers and make them attack by clicking on the archery targets. No. Click on the targets to make your archers attack.
Oh, he did not like that at all. He gets actually quite quippy with you if you keep not doing what he wants you to do. Narrator's quite a dick. Something interesting about this is, you see my characters shooting all the arrows and everything, and it's actually kind of interesting that they don't always hit the exact same spot. It's not like playing StarCraft or Warcraft or Command and Conquer. This is a real-time tactical, not a real-time strategy. So you can actually micromanage each character to individually dodge arrows or certain attacks.
Sir? Ready.
It also leads to a lot of more in-depth maneuvering and attacking later on in the game, especially when you get more of the characters that aren't shown here. This will actually also lead to a lot of my downfall in the single player, because once again I have not played this in a long time, so you'll see me die or accidentally kill my own
Nice going!
units.
Way to stick it to him. Now, make the dwarf attack the targets.
This right here is the pride and joy of Myth the Fallen Lords and Myth 2 Sublighter, the dwarf. Oh, they are glorious when they destroy everything. As you can also see, I've added some graphical updates.
The
Project
dwarf also has
Magma
the
and
special
other
ability to
people.
place satchel charges. This is useful for protecting vulnerable areas. Let's go step by step through this process. Move the
thank
dwarf
you.
close to the target.
He's talking over me. But like I was saying, Project Magma, they've implemented, or from their site you can get a whole bunch of graphical
Now
upgrades
hit T
and stuff.
to place a satchel charge.
And I've also got some for the character
Now,
models.
Control-click on the ground near the charge to blow it up.
So no longer is the old blurry 2D sprites, but a bit higher definition ones, and it's really nice. I figured I'd play through it with this one to give
Now
you
you
guys
can blow stuff up.
a better view of a game that I didn't get to see like this back
The
when I
Journeyman
played
has the special ability to heal units. Journeymen may also heal themselves. Select the Journeyman, hit T, and click on an injured unit to heal it. Go heal the injured warrior.
He basically smacks you with a shovel until you feel better.
Way to help your fellow man. Assembling troops and formations is essential to keeping order in the chaos of battle. To make your units form up, select them, select a formation from 0 to 9, and click on their destination. The loose line is formation number 3. Move the warriors across the river in a loose line.
And once again, unlike a lot of RTS games, the formations actually mean a lot in here. They actually determine whether you'll win some battles or
Scattering
keep
your
some
units
alive.
is also useful when they are under attack by explosives. Select the warriors and hit B to scatter them. Look at them run! We're moving. Organize your warriors into a vanguard. The vanguard is formation number 9.
Sorry, I zoomed in for a moment just to show you the reflections of the character models from a game from '97.
Well
That
done.
was pretty advanced, I think.
Yes, sir. Now, make the warriors attack the targets.
Oh, the Great Pumpkin isn't going to like this one.
All right, you finished the tutorial. Good luck. You're gonna need it.
Oh, I will.
We're moving. Yes, sir. Yes. Got it.
Wednesday, August 3rd, Crow's Bridge. Yesterday our Legion entered the village of Crow's Bridge and halted there for the night. We are just 4 days' march from the besieged city of Madrigal now, and with a little luck should arrive there in time to prevent its capture by the enemy. Shiver, one of the Fallen Lords, has been attacking the city for 2 days, but so far has been held back by its defenders. We all know the battle for Madrigal will decide the fate of all the northern lands, and that if it falls we will soon have nowhere to retreat but the ocean. Fearing for their safety, the villagers here pleaded with us to remain when we broke camp this morning. None of them understand yet what is happening, but they have all seen the refugees from the south, and they are frightened. Our officers seemed unsympathetic until the people returned with 9 young pigs and 10 dozen loaves of bread. 15 of us are to stay now, perhaps to fight boredom instead of the Fallen Lords, and watch the bridge here for 2 days.
Hey, did you hear what happened to Avon's Grove?
Yeah, there were no bodies.
What'd they do with all the bodies?
The bridge is being attacked. Let's get out of here.
Well, at least we know what they did with all the bodies as they come out of the water there. Those units are Thrall, the basic enemy units. They can go under deep water where you can't get to them and pass through pretty much any terrain except mountainous. They're basic cannon fodder for the enemy.
Good luck at the bridge!
If I was being spiteful, I could have stayed in town and just blown up every single one of the villagers with my dwarf, but for the sake of these videos, I'll just continue on with mostly the storyline. I also try not to talk too much during it. The first few levels only take a few minutes really to get through, so the first couple will be really quick, and once you get to about level 5 and 6, they start taking half an hour to 45 minutes to really complete, so I'll try not to lose too many units, and I'll try not to take too long while showing as many of the Easter eggs and secret areas as I can going through it.
Oh, what's going to happen to my pumpkins?
I already blew the shit out of them.
Yes, sir.
Right there we got a couple ghoul. Ghoul are, you know, very fast moving but low health creatures. They do really well at getting in close and killing your archers and dwarves unless you take care of them before then. They can also pick up anything that's on the battlefield and throw it at you, so sometimes they'll throw a severed arm head, and later on they'll start actually throwing these bags of pus that'll freeze your entire army, which I'm sure you'll see happen to me at some point or another.
Move here, move there.
Yes. On my way.
Yes, sir.
Dropping a few satchel charges, that way when the Thrall comes through, a good timed explosive will pretty much maximize the damage and blow as many of them up as possible.
Okay.
That was mine!
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes? Got him!
Another thing to note is that a lot of times with that random debris like that blows around and it hits you, it actually still does damage. So a severed body piece or piece of armor flying through the air hitting you will actually do a little sliver of damage. You see there on the top right little shields appearing next to my
Sir?
dwarf's name each time he kills a creature?
Step aside.
Those add up, and you know you can actually take the same character from level to level.
Move there. Mic up your mouth.
You see me trying to dodge some of their spears.
That was mine.
Those things down here are soulless. They can go over any terrain, so they can be a hassle if you don't have archers around to get on them. They're in a nice spot to just pick off all your units.
Yeah. Sir? All right. Right
The
away.
dwarf really enjoys
Right
this.
away. Ready. Got him. Sir? Hey. All right. Ready. Right away.
Another thing you'll note is I stopped my dwarf because if I
Ready.
didn't stop him and hit the stop command, he'd actually continue attacking and just blow up all of my own units. Friendly fire pretty much kills you more than anything else in this game.
Yes. Hey.
Casualty.
Oh, you see what I'm talking about? One of my asshole archers just killed another one of my archers. Jesus. Oh well. I'm not restarting. Fuck it. I think, yep, there we go. That's the end of this level. On to the next.
Hooray! Hooray! Yay! Hooray!
I guess not too bad, even though it was the opening level, I still lost one character to my own asshole characters.
Tuesday, August 5th, King's Highway. Having turned back the attack on Crow's Bridge, we headed south to rejoin the Legion in another small town called Otter Ferry. On our way, we met a force of our own men hurrying in the opposite direction, who gave us ill news. The vanguard of our army, 20,000 men, has been camped near Otter Ferry for 2 days now. The mayor of that village must have guessed our plan to cross the Scamander River behind the main enemy force and to attack them by surprise. Perhaps in the cowardly hope that he would be spared when the Dark sacked Madrigal, the mayor intends to betray us to the enemy. A quick death will be too good for him, but we will have time for nothing else. One of the locals knows of the clearing where the mayor arranged his meeting with the Dark and will lead us there.
Have you seen the mayor of Otter Ferry?
Sure. I passed him near the stone monument.
He is a traitor to his town. Will you lead us to him?
A traitor? Then let's move before he gets away.
Oh, he's so quick to turn on his own mayor. I actually do somewhat remember this level, so it's pretty short. Up ahead, I'll take a quick little shortcut to try to kill off the main guy, and then it'll be over with.
Yikes! Bad guys!
Hey, ready.
I can use my journeyman to take care of the school because I don't have any other melee characters. And journeymen have a lot of health, so they can take a lot of damage.
That was mine.
Oh, my first dud. But a nice thing is,
Right away.
yeah, just
Right
like
away.
that. Sometimes when you're playing matches and there's like a little bit of water, you'll keep throwing your little cocktails right into the water,
Step aside.
and it makes them all
Got
duds.
'em.
But then you explode one right on the outside of the water, and all of those will explode, doing a lot of damage, especially to units that are in the water trying to stay away from getting hit by an explosion.
Yes?
Mic up your mind.
Heal up my units. Smack them with a shovel a few times. Now, if anyone's ever read the Glenn Cook books, Chronicles of the Black Company, you can definitely start seeing where this was most likely very much inspired by those books. The same way it's narrated, and just a really dark fantasy setting. A lot of things, the head, the magics, the sorceries involved, you start going, wow, this is either a big, a big shout out to the Glenn Cook books, or the strangest chance ever. Either way, I definitely recommend, if any of you guys ever want to read a nice dark fantasy book, Glenn Cook's Chronicles of the Black Company.
There he is! Kill
They're
him!
some of the best stories I've ever read. Now you can see a moment ago I sent my dwarf off to a little side area because the road bends there. If I try to chase him around, I'll have to fight a whole bunch of other armies along the way, but doing this with my dwarf, I'll be able to take out the guy right away and pretty much end this match. Also, you can see up in the top right next to the shields of my dwarf is a little, I don't even know what it is, but it's basically letting you know how many battles your character survived. So he's gone through 1, and next time he shows up it'll be 2. So it's nice. They get stronger as they progress. If they die, it'll be a brand new unit that has no kills and pretty much sucks with accuracy or damage. No casualties. Don't expect to see any more of those from here on out. Well, thank you for watching part 1. Part 2 will hopefully be up soon. And until then, have a good day.